Hi everybody! Unity has recently released its 2D experimental preview number 4. This unofficial Unity version comes along with a quite nice game demo project and a lot of tools to simplify your life in the 2D design game world. Like there are a 9-slice sprite technique, a 2D rigid body, 2D physics and sorting groups. Most of these tools have been added to the recently released Unity version 5.6. However, the main feature from my perspective is the tile map editor. And it's currently not part of this Unity release version. They are, correct me if I'm wrong, aiming to release it in Q2 2017, but no one knows now if this date will be reached or postponed. The tile map editor helps you to paint your tile maps for 2D games with brushes on different layers. I noticed a lot of improvement for this feature between release 3 and 4, and this is the reason why I lay the scope on explaining it in detail in this video. And the neat and pretty demo game allows me to hopefully give you a vivid and easily to follow introduction. Where there's light, there often is shadow. Beta versions are not released with the purpose of giving you a stable and reliable software product at hand. Especially new features come along with a lot of bugs. Beta versions or experimental previews, like in this case, are more for playing around with new cool stuff and giving the developers feedback about annoying bugs and what you would like to see additionally in the final release version. Another constraint is that the projects you create with the preview release version will probably not run on later Unity versions. There are workarounds to achieve this, but this can easily get quite complicated and no one will give you any guarantee on these workarounds. Keeping that in mind prevents me from investing too much time in detailed programming. And now to briefly describe the demo game. You're playing a small robot which has to find its way to the end of the level through a bunch of dangerous obstacles, as there are lasers and a couple of drone-like enemies, as well as robots running on a rail and shooting at you. Your only special force is a short dash move, which lets you move faster, and you see that it recharges by a blinking circle on the head of your robot, and then you can release it using the space keys. There are also a couple of items like a teleport and keys to open doors in different sections of the level. Using the palette, you can easily create your own levels. If not already open, you will find it in the menu under Window, Tile Palette. To create a new level, simply start a new scene and press on the button in the lower part of the tile palette named Initialize Scene. Pressing the Initialize Scene button creates a 17 tiles long and 6 tiles high standard room with walls and floors, a level start and a level goal you have to reach with your robot. All the tiles and other objects are located on a grid game object. Moreover, on your left you will find a canvas with a title screen, some cameras and a game state manager object. Now the interesting thing. Below the palette you will find a bunch of custom tile brushes created solely for this game. If you select a brush from the drop-down menu, you will see its description and probably options. Let's start with the level brush. As the name says, it is used to draw the rooms and gangways of your level, and it will automatically place the correct wall or floor tiles on the tile map. If you should make a mistake, the corresponding tile on the tile map is marked red and you have to simply draw it over. Once you're satisfied with the design of the rooms in your level, you can select a different brush to place the obstacles and items in the rooms and on the floor. You can simply build your laser batteries by adding laser after lasers at the certain distance, and the connections between lasers will be added automatically. I like to mix vertical and diagonal connections when designing a laser battery because they make things a bit more demanding for the player. To start a new independent battery, I deselect the last laser of the current battery I created in the hierarchy. Next in line is the doors and key brush. First, I place the door on an empty tile in a gangway of the level, and then the corresponding key somewhere else, and I choose for it a color I like. The teleport brush does not need much explication. Simply use it to place a blue teleport and its connected orange teleport in your scene. And now we add more enemies to the scene. Use the rail turret brush to design a closed railway path, and after finishing it, click on any spot on the path to add a shooting robot to this railway. I do not recommend to add too many of these robots to one closed railway because they are a pretty mean species. Using the swarm brush, you can add drone spawning areas to your scene, and with the help of the corresponding slider in the palette window, you can adjust the difficulty of these drones. I could recommend to experiment a little bit with spawn area size and the difficulty setting. Last but not least, the sequence turret brush. Use the paint tool to place sequence turret and then paint again to place as many targets as you like. Altering the settings of the brush for the targets allows you to create your own fire sequence for each turret. Coming to an end of this quick introduction for the 2D tilemap editor, I would like to give a brief overview about the concepts behind it. If you want to dig deeper into the creation of tilemaps with Unity, you should download the documentation from the link below. Customizing the brushes and tiles for your own projects would definitely go beyond the scope of this video and of my knowledge so far, I have to admit. Roughly said, tiles and brushes are created by scripts you will find in the project folder. These scripts are customizing the grid brush editor and creating the needed scriptable tile prefabs for the respective brush. I'm glad if this video is like some door opener for you, and if you succeed in adapting the brushes and tiles for your own needs and hopefully create some exciting experimental games. I will definitely continue to play around with this release and the follow-ups. And I would love to read about your experience with this tool in the comment sections. Cheers!